Yaz's mom brought Yaz to Charlie. And Charlie came and got me and was like, what you want to do? I started writing for Yaz, like, killing it. Like, that's why it makes me mad to see what's going on with him right now. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching.
Right.
That bitch came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the fuck away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Bryshere, to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe, to be ready for filming. She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing.
We all thought these Epstein files were just about politicians trying to hide their dirty secrets. But with what just came out, it gets way darker. It's coming out that there were several young celebs that were also being exchanged and passed around across the network. And one of them allegedly just so happens to be Bryshere Gray. Now, people have been talking about how Bryshere's change from promising young actor to a Twitter corn star with a raging substance problem was because of how Hollyweird broke him down. And now, with the docs that were released, it's being said that he was one of the victims of this network.
And that there are things that are bigger than just coincidence, and that a ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way.
Okay, so people like Brother Bilal, Jaguar Wright, Terrence Howard, and even Cat Williams have been very vocal in exposing what happened to all these young actors and rappers like Bryshere. They knew that Bryshere was coming into the industry very green, with no one telling him what it would actually cost to achieve the level of success they wanted. In fact, Terrence tried to protect him, but Bryshere's mom was too greedy, and she passed him on to all these execs.
What don't you do? I would say to call him Big Daddy, though.
No. The people call me Big Daddy. Actors, that used to come in to audition used to say, Big Daddy, you got some jobs for me. So I was just like,
Just for a little bit of context, Bryshere talked about how he got mixed up in all this when he was just 18 years old. One minute, he was living life like a normal teenager. The next thing he knew, his mom kicked him out of the house, and he had to find a way to make a living. As he made his runs trying to get a foot in the industry, he met Charlie Mack at an audition in Philly, who introduced him to others like Will Smith, Lee Daniels, and Diddy. Bryshere had tried his hands at singing and rapping back in Philly, but knew nothing about acting. Still, he got the role of Hakeem Lion in Empire, which completely changed his life. Since he was going to be acting in such a major role for the first time, you'd expect that Bryshere would at least get an acting coach or build a team to look after his interest, right? Well, he did try to do that, only to be blocked by Lee Daniels. When he tried to seek outside help, Lee Daniels informed him that he would personally coach him.
When
Lee looked me in my eyes, he said, no coach, I'm gonna be his coach. And then I was like, yeah.
I was just determined you got that job.
Around the same time, Charlie Mack informed him that he was going to be mentored by Will Smith and Diddy, who at the time were seen as the very best in the business. Charlie assured Bryshere that they would teach him everything he needed to know and set him up for success. But it turns out that mentorship was the last thing on their minds. Around the time, there were already rumors about Diddy's activities going around and how he may have been DL the whole time. But beyond that, word on the street was that Diddy doesn't just prefer men. He liked them not of age.
Good, how are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good? Selling out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
However, Diddy was still a very powerful man, so he was able to bury any story that was about to come out. And at the time, there was no one with a cleaner image of black excellence than Will Smith. So anyone speaking against him would have been tagged as a hater or conspiracy theorist. It wasn't until Jaguar Wright and August Alucina blew the lid on what Will Smith and Diddy were doing that people started to realize that Bryshere was caught up in the same thing.
He saw what Charlie Mack and them were doing. He knew they were taking those young boys to Diddy. They all knew.
Before Bryshere was signed to join the Empire cast, Charlie Mack wanted to meet his mother first. Yes, the same mom that kicked him out. According to Bryshere, Charlie played it out as a formality, just so that she could know where her son was. But this was more than just a formality. Bryshere's mom was allegedly in on the whole situation, and she was getting paid to keep her mouth shut while the industry passed her son around. If Bryshere wanted to speak out and both his mom and the team around him denied it, people were going to look at Bryshere like he was crazy and out for a money grab. Don't forget that in the industry, if you go after certain people, they would make sure you never book another job. Mind you, he was barely an adult when all this was happening to him. The sad part is, Brother Bilal confirmed that the change in Bryshere really started after he got caught in the web of industry trauma, because his mind couldn't handle what was done to him. Allegedly, just like Cassie, Bryshere faced a number of physical challenges, from mental breakdowns to getting STD infected.
When I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's drug use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy sexually assaulted me. And you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part. Right? And I'm like, whoa. This was a full admittance.
But it wasn't just Bryshere that got sucked in under the guise of mentorship. According to Bilal, even older, successful actors like Will reportedly had to go through the same thing, which was why he didn't think twice about doing it to others. Brother Bilal even talked about the time he heard Will and Dwayne getting some action, and from what he knew, that wasn't the first time that Will was put in that kind of situation.
He knew that, you know, Dwayne and Will, I don't know if you have to say allegedly or whatever, and not only me, but a bunch of people know. If you in LA, you in the know. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just that term, I happened to see it physically, but I know it existed. Not only me, but a bunch of people know it existed. It ain't like it's some big epiphany. Oh, you know, Will doesn't like men.
And the scariest part is that Bryshere Gray wasn't the exception. He was the warning. And now with those Epstein files also making the round, it just shows just far this network actually went. And if this could happen to someone the world watched rise on TV, how many stories never made it out at all? People said, these boys and girls don't have protective parents. They have parents who accept some money for their child's innocence. Sick people. Man, he was just a kid. They are destroying our best and brightest. Nothing has changed. We still live in a society where they sacrifice the youth. I don't want to be any part of any of this. Remember Tevin Campbell? They destroyed that child who had so much talent and light around him. It's just evil. I really hate whatever happened to Bryshere Gray, SMH. What do you guys think about this? Sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, baddies!